News Rants, a podcast about news stories that could get a bit ranty. All views expressed on News Rants are those of myself and any contributors. Okay, I'll try that again. I didn't turn the microphone on, but I have now. So hello and welcome to a little experiment I'm calling News Rants Radio, live from the News Rants studio. Now I'm doing it in video as well on YouTube as a stream. That's a bit of a test, and I'm experimenting with a green screen behind me. I've got COVID at the moment, so I can't actually go out and do my normal day job, so I might cough during this as well, so you have been warned. There we go. Right, on cue. Excuse me. So, yeah, I have COVID right now, so, you know, that virus that's allegedly very deadly, but it actually isn't, because I'm still alive. So I've not done any News Rants podcasts for a while, so, you know, a lot of stuff's been happening in the news. Got the Conservative leadership contest, which I am pretty confident is going to be won by Liz Truss. Rishi Sunak doesn't stand a chance, so he might as well just give up now. I'm trying not to rant too much, because really ranting isn't going to help me get better from COVID. So, yeah, I could just rant about that all day. Let's see what else we got in the news. Obviously, everyone knows about the ongoing situation between Russia and Ukraine, so I don't rant about that because it wouldn't be fair for me to rant about that. So, you know. Yeah, what else we got in the news? Got the cost of living crisis still ongoing. Everything's still very expensive. So, you know. So, we've got that, and it's not great. And we've got people just acting absolutely bloody stupid as well. So, you know. So, talking of stupidity, now, the idea of this came from LBC's James O'Brien, who decided that it would be brilliant to say that sitting in front of a microphone and talking for 8 hours a day is harder than manual labour. Now, I'll have to tell him this. I've actually done manual labour, and believe me, that is a lot harder. Haven't done much of that in a while. There's a little bit of manual work in my normal day job, but it's not that much. But I have done manual labour. I've worked in an Amazon warehouse. Yes, I have. I'm going to admit that right now. And that's manual labour. Let's see if James O'Brien can manage that. So I thought, I'm going to parody James O'Brien at the Left Wing Broadcasting Company. So let's roll the tape, shall we? You're listening to the Left Wing Broadcasting Company with the James O'Brien Show. So, this job is, well, harder than manual labour. 8 hours a day. Harder than manual labour. Bet you couldn't do this for 8 hours a day. Bet you could do manual labour for 8 hours a day. Well, could you do 8 hours a day of manual labour without getting tired? I think you could. Could you do this for 8 hours a day? I don't think so. So 3 hours in, the toxin's already bubbling in my brain and I forgot what I was going to ask you. You know, the guy just texted in now saying, try a few hours on the bin wagon, on the dust cart. Bet you couldn't do that for 8 hours. You'd be aching by the end of it. I think I'd be fine, you know. I worked at a building site in the 80s. There's a blue plaque up on the brick outhouse that I built. That's how self-important I am. Self-important, lefty and woke. And proud of it. And important. So, I don't think you could do this for 8 hours a day, could you? No, I don't think so. Says James O'Brien for the Left Wing Broadcasting Company. Left Wing Broadcasting Company. Leading Britain's lefty wokest conversations since the 1970s. Microphone again. Forgot to turn the microphone on again. Hope you found that quite funny. So, you know. Yeah. I'm not sure if James O'Brien would have found that funny. I don't even know if he's seen it. It is doing the rounds on Twitter and TikTok. It's on my personal Twitter account and my personal TikTok account, which I reserve specifically for ridiculous stuff like that. Yeah, so I used the same green screen and the News Rants studio to put that together. So, you know. So at the moment I'm living off cups of tea and chocolate biscuits. And whatever I've got in the house, because obviously I can't go out. COVID. Excuse me. Yeah, that's going to keep happening. I don't have a switch to drop the microphone if I cough, which is a bit annoying. So, yeah, when I did the whole James OBrien thing, I did what he does with the headphones, which I'm just trying to remember which way around that is. Yeah, it's like that, isn't it? Yeah, he has his headphones like that for some weird, bizarre reason. Maybe he's got something wrong with that ear, I don't know. But he is a bit of a self-important woke buffoon. I don't really like him. I listen to the alternative on the other radio station that's main rival, Talk Radio. I listen to Mike Graham, who's a much better radio presenter than James OBrien will ever be. And James OBrien was also nominated for Mike Graham's Plank of the Week that week as well, so he didn't win it, though, which is a shame. I would have liked him to have won it, because that would have been quite funny. That would have made my week, because I've been stuck here with COVID, and, it's just boring as hell. So, Now, I'm not going to stream this for too long, because, obviously... So, what else we got in the news? So, I could have a look at the news. So, if I can go to the web browser, I'm just making sure that the stream isn't doing anything ridiculous. It isn't good. Now, if I go to Twitter, my main sources of news is GB News, and... Oh, yes, of course. The rail strikes, with Marxist union leader of the RMT, Mick Lynch, causing chaos to people travelling on Britain's railway network. Now, why is he doing that? I don't know. Well, actually, I do know. Because it's, case of what these unions want to do is they want to bring down a democratically elected government. That's clear to me. And, they want more pay. That's what they're saying, but it's not really more pay that they want. It is they want to bring down a democratically elected government. It's quite obvious in the way that they're basically saying things about Grant Shapps, who's the Minister of Transport. So, I don't get it. Why would you want to bring down a democratically elected government by virtue of going on strike? The tube drivers are all on strike today. So London's pretty much ground to a halt. God help anyone who's in London. And speaking of London, the place is rife with crime because incompetent Mayor Sadiq Khan can't seem to do anything about that and kick the police into gear because he's the Police and Crime Commissioner for London, although people would say, oh no, he's got nothing to do with that. He has. Yeah, because it's just come to the point where it's just getting absolutely ridiculous and people are getting murdered all the time. The most recent, very prolific victim was an 87-year-old pensioner. The guy who is thought to have done that has been arrested and charged, I believe, and is going to be in court, so I can't really say too much on that, because otherwise, it's not going to end well for News Rants, is it? So, just going through the old News Rants Twitter feed, because I follow Talk TV and GB News on there. Two of the most decent sources of news, we shall say. So, excuse me. So hopefully, things will improve eventually. But then you've got the migrants as well coming across the English Channel. That's no good, is it? Still got that going on. The Rwanda plan doesn't seem to have actually worked or even took off. No, not at all. So got that happening. The French were at one point seen to be stabbing the dinghies. I kind of like that they were stabbing the dinghies before the illegals could get in and launch them. Then obviously all the illegals run off and then they come back and try again because the French police can't patrol the entire length of that, and there's also footage shot by GB News going around as well. So have a look online for that. GB News has also been trending on Twitter today because they're moving on to bigger and better things now. They're doing well. So, and the people are saying, oh, GB News is finished, it's over, it's done. Yeah, no. those are just lefties that read The Guardian, which is a newspaper I wouldn't wrap my fish and chips in, and I wouldn't use as emergency toilet paper. So, yeah, no. It's pretty much the state of affairs. And also, people are whinging that the government isn't in office, it's recess, so, you know. And people are begging for the government to be recalled, Parliament to be recalled, and because of the cost of living crisis. Nah. Politicians are allowed a holiday too. I'm not bothered. Boris can go where he wants. He's not going to be in the job much longer because he has technically resigned, which is why there's a leadership contest going on. But, you know, what can you do? Excuse me. COVID. Yeah. So, other little bits of news that aren't getting much coverage. There's a document been released about the fact that there is no climate emergency. So the proscribed terrorist organisations of Extinction Rebellion, Insulate Britain and Just Stop Oil are going to be all up in arms about that because they're like going to call them all climate deniers and things like that. No, they're not. So, yeah, I like to see if they can get away with calling us climate deniers for much longer. I don't think so, because I've said that there isn't a climate emergency. We have had a heat wave where basically people were going around saying, oh, lots of people are going to die because it's 40 degrees. I don't like it that hot myself, but I'm still alive, aren't I? Well, only just. COVID. Well, that's a bit of an exaggeration. So, you know. And then we had another heat wave recently as well, and they were like, oh, people are going to die, things are going to catch on fire, the country's burning, it's all because of fossil fuels, ban coal, ban oil, ban gas. No, not happening, not happening. Electric cars aren't viable, the internal combustion engine is perfectly fine. Yeah, sorry greenies, live with it. You and your green goblin of doom, Greta Thunberg. Less said about her, the better. You know. So, this is probably the first News Rants live that I've done. So, I'm not sure how well I'm doing, but that's okay, that's fine. Because this is News Rants Radio. I've just knocked the volume down a bit, then I'll have to knock it back up. There we go, I must have knocked it when I was doing things before. So just on the mixer in front of me. Because this is the same studio setup I used to record the podcasts. This is being recorded to go out as a podcast. So, if you're not listening to it live now, which I'm doubting because I haven't actually provided any links, but you might be watching it live on YouTube for all I know, because you might subscribe to the YouTube channel and got a notification. So, it'll be going out kind of live. So, you know, it's a good way of testing my desktop computer as well, because that hasn't actually done anything majorly heavy. This is probably one of the heaviest things it's done, apart from editing videos for my other little projects. Sorry about this. The COVID's I'm just going to have to put up with it. Yeah. So, yeah, this is just something just to keep me occupied, really, because there's a lot else I can do, and, you know, plenty going on in the news. Oh, I've just seen a tweet here, which was from 2 hours ago about the illegal immigrants, from the Twitter account Lord Springfield. 4,978 illegal immigrants have arrived in 113 boats so far this month. 21,367 have arrived in 574 boats this year. These are the figures that we know about, not including the lorries, Channel Tunnel planes, or those overstaying their visas. That's true. And also the Guardian are busy spewing their absolute BS about GB News, which is a very good channel. I suggest people watch it. And then, you know, usual sort of stuff. But I would watch GB News if I could. I don't have a TV licence. So, I'm looking forward to the abolition of the TV licence, because obviously the biased broadcasting corporation make you pay it if you want to watch anything that isn't part of their horrid output. Because how else are they going to earn money? Yes. There isn't really a lot on in the news apart from what I've just gone over, but I can't rant too much because obviously that will not help my COVID in the slightest, and hopefully I'll get better soon. So, there's also talk about the vaccines on GB News as well, and some of it was flagged as misinformation on Twitter, which it isn't. So, make your own choice about the vaccines if you want. I'm not going to say whether you have or shouldn't have them. I've had 2 AstraZenecas, but, this is kind of proof that they don't really work. So there you go. So I've just got to be careful what I say about that. Yeah. So, yeah, it's been quite busy for news. I've just not had a chance to rant about it because I've been busy with work and other projects. I have more of my tea. Because it's good. Yeah, and also I've been laid up with COVID for the last week and a bit. It's not been very nice. Yeah, it'll go away soon. My green screen experiment isn't kind of working because my curtains are thin as well. So, So, I'm just checking all my lives switched on. So, the broadcaster is running. The streaming from OBS is running. Yeah, we're all good. Yeah, because I'm using a Icecast server to run an audio-only feed, and I'm obviously streaming to YouTube at the same time, which is the CPU is 71%. So anyone who likes technical stats might like that very much. So I'm not sure what else, because I can't really rant about too much. I mean, there was obviously the Wagatha Christie. Let's try that one again. Wagatha Christie trial. That was won by Colleen Rooney, and Rebecca Vardy was all boo-hoo-hoo about it. So, And then the Johnny Depp, Amber Heard one, less said about that, the better. He won that, and she was like all up in arms about it, but it turned out that she was acting through the whole thing anyway, so there you go. Not going to say too much about that either. Ugh, I hate these celebrity trials. I did do a news rants on that, but I don't remember releasing it to YouTube. I only remember releasing it as an audio. So, it's available on Spotify, it's available on Google, it's available on Apple Podcasts, usual sorts of places. So, you've also got the News Rants Twitter feed at News Rants 2022. I could have put a link to this on there, actually, but this is mostly an experiment, so, it's all experimental at the end of the day. So, and that's what we're doing. I'm not going to go for 8 hours, as suggested by James O'Brien, because, well, I couldn't anyway, because I do have other things to be doing, and also I have COVID, so I should be taking it easy, really. Yeah. So, there's hosepipe bans coming in as well, because there's apparently droughts going on. Most of the water companies have decided to do that. I did tweet about that. I had a response from one of the companies in question, which is actually Yorkshire Water, which is the company that supplies me. So, I'm not interested in that. I put out a tweet on the News Rants Twitter regarding Marxist Mick Lynch being interviewed by Jeremy Kyle, I think it was. Yes. And had some lefty Ramona type respond to that. I didn't respond back because I don't have time for lefty Ramonas. Especially considering that if you don't agree with them, they tend to block you. Especially Ramona-in-Chief Andrew Adonis, who I refuse to refer to as Lord because I don't think he deserves that title. He blocked my personal Twitter account. He hasn't blocked the News Rants one that I'm aware. He might do, though. But I don't care. The RMT haven't blocked me. I'm surprised about that. Because I've been saying a lot of bad things about them yesterday, and how we at News Rants don't stand in solidarity with them because they're crippling the country in the name of bringing down a democratically elected government. Yeah. So, I wouldn't support an organisation that wants to do that. What else? Yeah, I wasn't expecting that. So, yeah, I don't support them. I don't support the greenie organisations. They haven't blocked me either. They probably just muted me because they're probably sick of hearing about things like that from me. Or maybe they just don't care. You know, obviously I'm referring to Extinction Rebellion, Insulate Britain and Just Stop Oil, because I do refer to them as proscribed terrorist organisations. I did see some footage of, I think it was Extinction Rebellion, smashing the windows at News UK, which is where Talk TV and Talk Radio are based. So, you know. It's just really hypocritical what they do, because the amount of pollution that would be caused to manufacture replacement glass for the entrance of News UK would be what they're protesting against. So there you go. Yeah, I'm making this up as I go along as well, because, you know, I've not got a script here. I don't want a script. I just want to make it up as I go along, because that's how I roll. And that's generally how News Rants has been. I've usually ranted because without a script, because it just seems to be easier just to rant it like that. Oh, excuse me. Wasn't expecting that either. So yeah, I get my news from Talk TV, Talk Radio and GB News, because those are organisations I trust for news. I don't trust the BBC, I don't trust ITN, and, you know. Oh yeah, there's another thing as well. The water companies have also been in the news for discharging raw sewage into the sea. That's disgusting. That's vile. That is horrible. So people can't go swimming in the sea. I wonder if it would stop the illegal immigrants. Probably not. Yeah. Illegal immigrants stopped by turds. How about that? Yeah, perhaps. It's probably not going to be one of my best ones, this. But, you know. I'm just hoping that it works and comes out alright. COVID. Yeah. So, it's just coming up to about 22 minutes now. So, I'm going to stop this stream now at that, because obviously I don't want to be doing this too long. I might try another one later. So, this has been the News Rants radio stream, live from the News Rants studio. So, this is Paul, and this has been News Rants, but without as much ranting because of the coronavirus. Yeah. So, I'll stop there and see how that's come out, and it's going to be available on the News Rants podcast feed and the News Rants YouTube channel, and you can buy me a coffee. The link is in the other videos. I can't put it into this one because I can't put it into the scrolling text at the bottom because I don't have the means to do that at the moment. I'll have to play with OBS, see if I can actually change the scrolling text. I'm sure I can. And there's Twitter at NewsRants2022. Follow us there. And of course the YouTube channel as well, where you can see this in vision. And Spotify, Google Podcasts and Apple Podcasts is where you can find the audio feed of this very live stream. So, I'm Paul, this is News Rants, and I'll catch you in the next one.